We are in a healing lab. And as you are comfortably seated or lying down, visualize a large fire burning. I will say some affirmations for you regarding you being your own alchemist. Surrendering that which impedes your conscious realization of yourself as a divine being, temporarily using a physical body. And as you gently breathe, or if you choose to use the open mouth, shallow breath, that triggers the subconscious, it is your choice. Or you can alternate between your nostril breathing and that gentle, slightly opened mouth breathing. So you are very comfortable right now in your lab as you begin the fire operation. You remove that which is no longer necessary for your balance and your peace and your purpose by placing it in this fire. And what you're doing is reducing the corruptive thought, the patterns, and accumulated energy by burning. So I'll speak for you. I plan to seriously remove everything standing in the way of the higher part of me being in charge. And as I breathe and the affirmations are said, I trust and have surrendered because I no longer want negativity to attract what is called lead into my life. Lead invites the fires of hell, so to speak. Instead, my purpose is to invite the light of gold, of heaven, to shine down and through me, as me. So this is the first step in the Emerald Tablets of Hermes, called calcination. It's psychological. And what we're doing is encouraging the destruction of the leaden center of consciousness. That personality ego with all the illusions and self-deceptions. So as I breathe in full confidence and visualize the large fire burning, I am determined to be free of the stranglehold of earthbound ego. And with my breath and my focus and my love for the divine, I'm replacing it with the true stuff, which is rooted on a higher or golden plane of reality. So your responsibility is to either do your shallow mouth breath or your nostril breath, or combine them both when you intuitively feel it's necessary. And keep the vision of a large fire burning. A burning fire means transformation. It is the way out of despair and suffering. To rise with the flames. Now I can control the calcination by surrendering my pride or vanity and using spiritual disciplines. So the ideal of the lab work is to stop approaching life through the pulpit of the calcified and controlling lesser ego. And that's why right now you have chosen, it's your choice, to step into the inner laboratory. For that's what it is. A lab where you take responsibility and heal yourself. It appears as a secret, but what it involves is a concentrated consciousness. What this means is that when you use the fire of the alchemists, those who desire to make a change, we must give it our attention and discipline. So as you breathe, in the alchemy of purification and concentration of consciousness, at this very moment, you are involved in the first step. And the first step is to turn up the fire of consciousness and train yourself to concentrate on your thoughts and habits, assumptions, and judgments. You will need to be absolutely truthful about all situations and relationships, and stop nurturing denial. This is a very important step. Train yourself to recognize falsity. And stay with your breath as you listen to these words and see the fire burning. That which needs to be removed. To be your amazing self, it's important to recognize falsity. You have to look past the appearance. No more robotic reactions to people and events. Use discernment. So if you're doing the shallow breath, images may appear and feelings. Simply observe them, and if it's something you don't like, put it in the fire. The idea is to be a conscious alchemist and use the fire of consciousness to burn through illusion and self-deception. Defense mechanisms, bigotry, and all the other dogmas and dramas of the tyrant ego, who has usurped the throne of the grandest immortal part of you. I used to tell people years ago that they are a hierophant in disguise. And that was so foreign to people to think that they were something special, that they were actually royalty, that they were actually part of the one. But for us to evolve, we have to accept our true identity. And this way we help evolve all life, including the planet. So with your breath and focusing on the flame and surrendering, you are giving permission to your spirit, your highest version of yourself, who existed prior to physical incarnation, to be the rightful ruler of your personality and the costume body that you are temporarily wearing. It is time for the king or queen, the hierophant of you, to be fully restored. Do you understand what the one mind is? It's actually the same for everyone. It is in all of us. And how does it create? It uses what the alchemists call the one thing, which is a substance, a morphic field, limitless energy, or as I prefer to call it, the Holy Spirit. If you have chosen to be an alchemist, use meditation, use moments like this as an active discipline, not a passive one. I urge you to remain in your body in meditation and not bliss out. In other words, be here now. I know it feels so wonderful to go to heavenly realms. But the idea is you are healing yourself. So during this alchemical meditation, if you want to be healed and to be free again, you need to be conscious to work with the transcendental powers that go far beyond ego. It's time to create something new. We are not a finished product. So the object is not to still the mind like you may be used to, but to fill it with images and follow those images back to their divine source. To be an alchemist, we must use the power of imagination. True imagination. Not fantasy, but creating meaningful images in the mind. So again, I ask you to think of a very embarrassing moment in your life. Because in those moments, ego is actually defeated. So take a moment and review a seriously embarrassing moment when your ego was crushed. See, hanging on to those memories are the greatest threat to personal transformation. So put your recollections into the fire of transformation. And as the fire of calcination burns, it burns on the psychological and spiritual level. And it also burns within the body itself. So as you breathe and observe any images that appear in your mind, and place whatever is no longer desirable into the flame, also know that what you do in your active state, like your exercises and your jogging and your biking or swimming, or just rapid breathing, all those choices result in a biological purification and elimination of toxins. and a concentration of the life force in your body. So mindful physical exercise is a powerful tool with a positive attitude. Bodily alchemy is also a rebirth into a more youthful and healthy state. It prolongs a life for many years past what is considered normal. All the so-called burns of life have been humiliating, humbling experiences. And the alchemist saw those hardened thoughts, the burns we have suffered, as metals within us. metals. And they believed that they made our temperament. So when you remember to visualize the fire of calcination and choose to do it during your meditative periods, you will be burning encrusted patterns of responses that can turn us into ego-driven and in many cases zombies. So our goal is to be aware of hidden assumptions and everyday thoughts, and stop handing our life over to the most insubstantial part within us. The alchemy work is very active. It's changing, it's not passive. Choosing to use alchemy changes us from a fool to a magician. So I'm going to leave you now to continue with your breath, your images, imagination, and the fire. Where you can do your work and be active. And I'll let you choose when you're ready to bring your attention back to the room. It would behoove you to stay with the breathing and your intention and assimilate and continue to experience for an additional 10 or 15 minutes. So be it. In love and light and gratitude. Shin.